Welcome back to the Deep Dive. This is the show that takes your research deep into the source material and really extracts the insights you need.
And we've got a great one today.
We really do. Today, we're unpacking a piece of South Korean media that stirred up a fascinating and really polarized conversation. The 2025 boys' love drama, Heesu in Class 2.
Yeah, a perfect case study.
It is. You tasked us with analyzing this show, which, had everything going for it, high production quality, great casting.
Top notch.
And figuring out why it divided its audience so sharply, particularly around its structure and pacing.
Right. We're looking at a 10-episode series, about 8 hours of content total, adapted from a really beloved webtoon by Lily Suzu.
And at its heart, what is it?
At its core, it's a high school coming-of-age story.
Mm-hmm.
It stars Heesu, who's played by An Ji-ho, and it's all about him navigating first love, friendship, and, self-acceptance.
Okay, let's get into that initial setup because it immediately establishes this central, kind of delicious irony.
It really does.
Heesu is the school's unofficial love guru. He is the person everyone goes to for advice.
Oh, what's so fascinating is that he's this relationship expert who he's never actually had a relationship.
Right.
He's working purely on theory. And he gets all this knowledge from living with his 3 chaotic older sisters, Hee-jeong, Hee-jane, and Hee-sin.
Their disastrous dating lives are basically his textbook.
Exactly. They're his case studies. But of course, the sensible advice he gives everyone else, he just can't apply it to himself.
No, it's the complete opposite. He is stuck, truly stuck in a decade-long secret crush on his best friend, Jo Chan-young.
Who is, handsome, popular, and completely oblivious, just totally unaware.
Played by Cho Chan-young.
And that crush, it's the story's emotional anchor, but it's also a kind of self-imposed prison for him. He's always looking outward, projecting his feelings onto the cosmos, because he can't actually look inward and deal with his own situation. And that's what gets the ball rolling on the main conflict.
Right, because while he's busy gazing at Chan-young, someone else is gazing right back at him.
And he has no idea. He is totally blind to the quiet, super smart class president, Seung Won.
Played by Lee Sang-jin.
And Seung Won is the polar opposite of Chan-young. He's reserved, he's academic, and his whole approach is incredibly subtle.
So how does he make a move?
He starts what becomes the secret admirer plot. He starts leaving these anonymous boxes of carrot juice, which is Heesu's favorite, on his desk. That starts right in episode 1.
So we have an immediate mystery.
An immediate mystery and an immediate counter-narrative to Heesu's big crush.
And just to make it even messier, at the same time, Chan-young, the object of all this devotion, he meets someone.
He does. He meets Choi Ji-yu, who's an aspiring singer, and he starts to form a real connection with her.
And this is where the big misunderstanding kicks in.
This is the engine of the whole first half. Heesu panics. He sees his emotional safety blanket. Chan-young, being single, is about to disappear.
So he completely misreads the situation.
Completely. He sees the carrot juice and assumes Seung Won has a crush on Ji-yu, who is actually just Seung Won's close friend.
So the dating expert comes up with the single worst plan imaginable.
The worst. He decides to team up with Seung Won, the guy who actually likes him, to help him win over Ji-yu.
The girl that Chan-young likes, so he can keep Chan-young single for himself. It is just a catastrophic plan.
It is. And, you asked why Seung Won would even play along with this, and it really speaks to his character. He is so patient.
He must be.
He knows all about Heesu's crush, but he plays the part of the wingman just because it guarantees he gets to spend time with Heesu.
So it's the only way in.
It's his only way in. And this whole mix-up, it creates a lot of really charming, funny moments between them, but structurally, it puts a massive brake on the central romance.
Yeah, that charming mix-up was fun for a bit, but it really created the show's Achilles heel, which was the pacing. It's just agonizingly slow.
So slow.
We do see a shift, though, right around the middle. Episode 5, things start to get serious.
That's right. The blackmail incident. It's key because it shifts the focus away from, funny mix-ups to genuine trust and safety.
What happens?
Heesu gets an anonymous threat about his feelings for Chan-young. And it's Seung Won, not Chan-young, who immediately rushes in to protect him.
Okay, so that solidifies Seung Won as the protector in his mind.
Exactly. He's reliable. And then the big emotional pivot happens in episode 6 during the meteor shower trip.
The moment of truth.
It is. Chan-young and Ji-yu officially become a couple. Heesu is, of course, heartbroken. He storms off. And who follows him?
It's got to be Seung Won.
It's Seung Won. And it's the first time Heesu is really forced to see him as someone who is actively invested in his well-being, totally separate from this whole love triangle mess.
That feels like a crucial turning point.
It is. It signals that Heesu has to start shifting his focus,
Yeah.
from just trying to keep things the same with Chan Young to actually seeing what Seung Won is offering.
Which brings us to the core critique from viewers. Because we have fantastic acting, we have this poignant story, high production values.
Everything looks great.
But the feedback was overwhelming. 8 hours was just too much for this level of slow burn.
And if you connect that to the bigger picture, the pacing wasn't just slow. It felt like it was being deliberately diverted.
Right. Viewers felt like they were watching a show about everything but the main romance.
I mean, critics pointed out the sheer volume of filler. We spent whole scenes on Chan Young's intense tennis career.
Which was all about his dad's expectations.
Right. And then Ji Yu's music career.
Right.
And maybe the biggest distraction of all.
The sisters, the 3 older sisters and their own complicated dating lives.
Exactly. The thing that was supposed to be the source of his expertise ended up just eating up huge amounts of screen time. The comedic relief became a burden.
And this is really the crux of the whole polarized reaction.
It is. The audience for a boys' love series, they come in expecting a very clear central romance.
And what they got instead was the secondary heterosexual relationship Chan Young and Ji Yu developing really quickly.
And not just quickly, but with a lot of emotional depth. It ended up overshadowing the main couple, who were still just, awkwardly sharing carrot juice.
So for a lot of core fans, this led to that big critique of straightwashing. That's a strong term. What does it really mean in this context?
It implies a deliberate choice to try and broaden the show's appeal by softening or minimizing the central queer relationship.
So playing it safe.
Playing it very safe.
Yeah.
Especially for a high-budget mainstream K-drama. There's this perceived risk aversion around physical intimacy between the male leads. So by focusing on all the subplots and avoiding any real progression for Heesu and Seung Won, the series felt sanitized.
It pulled its punches.
It pulled its punches.
Yeah.
And in trying not to alienate a broader audience, it ended up alienating its core BL audience.
And this was all made worse by the show's shift in tone from the original webtoon.
Absolutely. Fans of the webtoon felt betrayed. The source material was described as, a simple, funny, direct rom-com.
And the drama wanted to be something else.
The adaptation wanted to be this very serious, philosophical, coming-of-age drama. It weighed everything down with all this angst and family pressure.
The character changes didn't help either, specifically Chan Young.
Yeah, that was a big one. In the webtoon, he was apparently a much more supportive, self-aware friend.
Whereas the drama version...
The drama portrayed him as, at times, pretty oblivious, self-absorbed, and even a little childish. Especially after Heesu finally confesses to him.
So he stops feeling like a friend and starts feeling more like just an obstacle.
Exactly, just an obstacle for the sake of drama, which just frustrated viewers who wanted the main couple to finally get together.
So despite all those structural flaws, the show does eventually deliver on its core promise for Heesu's character.
It does. His arc is really about self-discovery. It's about him accepting that this decade-long crush was a form of protection and moving towards, active honesty.
And this all comes to a head in the final episodes.
It does. In episode 9, he finally confesses to Chan Young. And this part is vital. It's not a plea for a relationship. It's an act of emotional liberation for himself.
It's about closure.
It's about honesty and closure so he can finally move on.
And that self-acceptance immediately has a ripple effect. He comes out to his sister,
who is completely supportive.
Yeah.
And that validation from his family, that's the real turning point for his emotional maturity.
Meanwhile, Seung Won, the quiet winner, has just been waiting patiently.
He has. And his growth arc, though it's much subtler, was about him breaking out of his shell. He had to become more active to offer that consistent support to Heesu.
So he proved he was willing to wait for Heesu to figure things out.
He did. And the series ends quite beautifully at the school festival.
Yeah.
Heesu, having finally gotten his closure with Chan Young, realizes what Seung Won has been offering all along.
And he actively seeks him out.
He does. And we get the resolution that the audience waited 8 hours for. Heesu and Seung Won finally get together. They're shown in this quiet, really satisfying scene, just sitting together, looking at the sky.
It's an earned happy ending.
It is. It's based on emotional maturity, not just, romantic convenience.
But this brings us back to that final question. Even with a happy ending, why did so many viewers still feel dissatisfied?
It comes down entirely to that structural imbalance. After all that time spent on tennis and singing and the sisters, The actual start of the main relationship felt incredibly rushed,
It was all crammed into the last few minutes.
almost entirely in the last 15 minutes of the final episode.
Yeah.
It turned the central romance into an afterthought, not the main event.
And fans wanted more.
Of course, they want to see them as a couple to explore that new dynamic, but the show was over. And on top of that, the final disappointment for many was the total lack of physical intimacy. Not even a kiss between the main leads.
For a high-budget BL in 2025, that felt like a step back.
It felt like an unnecessary act of caution that just confirmed all those fears about straightwashing.
So, to summarize our findings on Heesu in Class 2, it was a beautifully produced, well-acted show.
Absolutely. And it had a really satisfying character arc for its protagonist.
But structurally, it's a cautionary tale, isn't it? It sacrificed the focus of the central queer narrative for all these detours, trying to fit a niche genre into a mainstream K-drama box.
And that imbalance led to a delayed, rushed, and for many, an ultimately unsatisfying payoff for the audience that came for the BL story.
It's really the story of the expert who couldn't help himself. Heesu became this great advisor because he was always looking outward at his sisters' lives. And the show structurally did the same thing. It kept looking outward at the subplots.
That's a great point. The show only really succeeded when Heesu finally looked inward. But it took the series way too long to follow his lead.
So the final thought for you to mull over. How often do we, like Heesu, build up all this expertise in external things, giving advice, analyzing markets, while we remain completely blind to the real reciprocal affection or opportunity that's waiting right next to us?
He was so fixated on that far-off, impossible crush that he almost missed the dependable carrot juice-wielding affection that was right there the whole time.
A profound point to end on. Thanks for diving in with us on this really challenging piece of media. We'll see you next time on The Deep Dive.
Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please consider liking, commenting, and subscribing. It really helps the channel grow. See you in the next one.